All right,
Good
Riley,
catch for the
what's
state.
next?
Yeah, topic number 2, we're gonna do miniature feast week preview, but a little more broad view of it, and just talk about which teams have the most to prove this upcoming
Wait,
week.
did you say mini feast week?
What did I said
No, I'm saying I'm asking you. Did you say mini feast week?
I said mini feast week preview.
Okay, one might say that it's a appetizer.
A fried chicken appetizer.
All
Oh, good
right.
lord!
Riley didn't like that card. I knew where you were going.
I thought that was great.
I really
An
liked it for the
appetizer
record.
week. All right, let's do an appetizer preview.
Yeah. Okay. All right. How do you want to run this, Riley? What do you want from us?
I want to hear y'all's teams first for which teams you think have the most to prove, and then I'll share. I have 2, actually, really 3 that came to mind. Yeah, I'm not going to spoil them, but one may be of particular interest to a Discord member who has been insulted that he's shaped like a lunch lady by none other than Carter Elliott before.
I mean, Tristan straight up asked for this and then said, please don't diss my team. So I'm sure he'll be very excited about this.
The work that's on Minted.
Whoa, sorry. I just have some loud music coming. I was trying to look up the Maui Invitational bracket and got hit with a YouTube ad. That's horrible. So there's a couple teams in Maui that I have my eye on. Everybody knows this is like on paper the most loaded tournament field ever. I think you could say whoever wins this tournament obviously proved a lot. I have my eye on a couple of the non-biggest names this tournament. Like, I think we know Tennessee's really good. They're going to show up, and regardless if they win 1 game or 3 games, they're really good. Same for Marquette, same for Kansas. I have no questions on those 3 teams, and I'll throw Purdue in there. I don't have questions on if those 4 teams are good. But then you look at the rest of this field, which is still really good, and it includes Gonzaga, it includes Syracuse, it includes UCLA. All 3 of those teams are teams that I have circled for various reasons in the non-conference. Gonzaga, we had our questions about early. Then St. Mary's went down. They're kind of looking like no matter what, it's still like the conference is going to run through them. And if they can come into this tournament and like win 2 games, I think it's time to actually acknowledge like Gonzaga's here to stay and they didn't take a step backwards at all. Going to Syracuse, I gassed them up all offseason, right? I mean, I gassed them up constantly and said this team has the best backcourt in the ACC. Judah Mintz, ACC Player of the Year. His numbers are pretty good. They were really good in the first game, and they're just not good. Like, even though those guys are good, the team as a whole isn't good. On paper, I would expect Syracuse loses every game they play in this tournament until they play Chaminade. But if they can steal one against somebody that matters, maybe that lights a little bit of a spark plug. And then the last one for me is UCLA, who I think a lot of people will want to lump in with the first group of teams we know are good. We don't know UCLA is good. They haven't covered a game this season. They've been 30-point favorites in every single game. They were trailing at the half to a team that is horrible. I don't even remember the team's name, but like they've really struggled. Some of their overseas freshmen that were coming have not played yet. Like Burke hasn't played yet. I do have a little report from ears within the gym on the West Coast that Burke is going to be available for the Maui Invitational from the first game on. That's the expectation. Breaking news on Sleepers. And Daymara finally played more than 11 minutes in this last game. They still missed a cover by like 12 points, though. So those are the 3 I have my eyes on. I cheated. I went all from one tournament, but that's what I'm most excited for in the main course of Feast Week. Cart, what do you got?
So I think for me, if I can somehow get to a Syracuse Gonzaga matchup, a Syracuse Purdue matchup, I think for me, and that is possible if I'm not reading the bracket incorrectly, right? Can anyone fact check me on that?
I can fact check you on that. You want Syracuse and Purdue?
Yes. Is that possible?
Let's check the bracket out, my friends.
Okay.
Give me a moment.
Because that for me, the guards of Syracuse going up against the Purdue guards, like this is when you finally see, some guards that can hang with Braden Smith and can hang with Fletcher Lawyer and Lance Jones and all that. I would love to see what those guys are made of and what they look like against Judah Mintz and JJ Starling. Now, is it unlikely that Syracuse team gets past Tennessee? Yes. But if I could have it my way, I would love to see that Purdue team match up with the Syracuse team. I think it'd be interesting.
Syracuse will face Purdue if both teams win their first game or if both teams lose their first game.
Okay.
Who's Purdue's first game against?
Purdue has
Gonzaga,
Gonzaga
right?
opening round. Syracuse has Tennessee, which again, way too much orange.
Yeah, way too much. And Greg, I'm surprised you didn't say this and stayed in the one event. I think this is for the whole everyone on this Zoom call. I think what everyone wants to see is Atlantis. Like I think that's filled with great teams. I think Villanova is the worst team in that tournament. I truly think it is. Like you got Arkansas in there, you got UNC, Memphis, who I think people are sleeping on. Old, play hard, play together. Like everything that you want St. John's to do, Memphis is actually doing, and it looks good. I'm all in on the Tigers this year. I will continue to hold my stock for them. But yeah, like I'm very, very intrigued. I think that's going to be my favorite one. And then the last one that I'll talk about is if we can end up getting a matchup at MSG between me and Riley's Texas Longhorns and the defending national champion UConn Huskies. I need that. That'll be cinema. That'll be cinema.
Hard. I feel like we actually just got hit with like a full blown Thanksgiving meal. Like I feel like you brought out like the rolls first, and then you came with like mac and cheese. Like you served the turkey. All of it happened at once. I don't know what to choose from here. I love all your answers, for the record. I want to just quick respond to the Battle for Atlantis one and kind of maybe throw it back to Riley since both our teams in this. You said there's great teams everywhere in the Battle for Atlantis. What if there is?
Did I say great?
Uh-huh.
Oh.
I think
good teams.
Somebody can fact check me. I know we got a lot of people that are fixated on words you use in this program, but I'm pretty sure you said there's great teams everywhere. My counterpoint to you would be, what if there's not a great team in this tournament? I don't think there is.
Well, then they're all good teams.
Yeah, maybe. I think we're going to learn a lot about a lot of these teams. Like we're going to learn, is Memphis good or are they Memphis? We're going to learn, is North Carolina last year North Carolina or are they this year North Carolina? We're going to learn, is this Michigan start a joke or is it for real? We're going to learn Arkansas. Arkansas looked really bad, by the way. I think Arkansas is probably the best team here, but I don't know. I think there's a lot of winnable games for whoever's actually good here.
Yeah, especially whatever team plays Villanova.
UNC might get Villanova in the second round, which
perfect.
If this makes it back to the coaching staff, please practice a 2-3 zone between now and then, because Villanova is helpless against it. Just watch the Pin Quakers. But yeah, the two that stuck out to me were from Atlantis with Arkansas and UNC. Arkansas struggled a little bit in the first half against Gardner-Webb, struggled against Old Dominion well into the second half. And what's interesting is they're shooting 40% from three right now. As a team, which was like supposed to be their biggest concern coming into the game, because Caleb Battle had been hit or miss from three throughout his career. Tremont Mark hasn't been a shooter at Villanova, at Houston. L. Ellis was streaky throughout his time at Louisville, and for the most part, like Trevon Brazile is hitting threes right now. Battle and Mark have both been hitting threes. Those haven't been the issues. I guess it's been more on the defensive side, maybe. Like they allowed Old Dominion to score 77 on them at home. And yeah, that's where I'm wanting to see, like, is this typical, like a must-bust fooled you where he always has teams? Like, I want to say that one of the teams that made the Elite Eight lost to Hofstra in the non-conference. Like, could very well be possible that we see the Hogs completely re-energized in Atlantis and they win the whole thing. That wouldn't be surprising at all, but we got to see how all these pieces fit against legitimate competition. And Carolina's a little bit of the same way. Just like Arkansas, they have 7 transfers coming in, 2 freshmen, brand new team. And yeah, they battled with Radford well into the second half and allowed Lehigh to erase a 15-point deficit in the second half and get within 3. And there's been a lot of mixing and matchings of rotations. And the more and more I look at this UNC team, like, personally, yeah, I think Elliot Cadeau should be the 5th starter. They're really good at the 1 and the 5 with RJ and Armando, both of who are living up to the pedigree, or playing some of the best ball of their career. I think Harrison Ingram has looked awesome as well. I think Cormac Ryan, he's been a little bit streaky from 3, but can get there. But the question mark for them is, like, who's going to fill that 5th starter role? Is it going to be Paxton Wojcik? Is it going to be Jalen Withers? Is it going to be Elliot Cadeau? I'm like, there's a very obvious answer here, but I don't think the coaching staff sees it the same way I do, to where, like, we should learn about that this upcoming week as well. Like, can one of those dudes be serviceable when the competition gets to these, like, top 50 or top 25 teams?
Yeah, those first two guys are all right. RJ and Mondo. They're all right.
All right. Thanks, Greg.
I know they're getting their numbers in dogfights again. That's kind of been their whole thing, right?
Okay, RJ has looked borderline unguardable this year. I know it's been against two mid majors, but we'll see. Like that is going to be. I'll go ahead and make that prediction that he's going to average over 20 points per game in Atlantis.
How do we get Michigan versus UNC in this tournament?
It has to be in the championship.
It had to be the championship.
Yeah, and it'll be
okay.
Doug cannot check RJ. Greg, I'm sorry. I'm going to tell you that now.
Doug wouldn't be checking RJ.
I guess it'd be Namari.
Yeah, and Namari
can't check him either.
Namari
cannot check RJ either.
Namari definitely can check RJ.
He's gonna give whoever's on him buckets.
I hope we get the opportunity to preview and recap this together. That'd be really fun. Here's why I will do one quick pitch on why you should consider Michigan to win this tournament. Michigan has looked unstoppable offensively when they play teams that want to speed them up. Every single team in this field wants to speed them up. They will not play a team the entire tournament that wants this to be a half-court game. If you want to speed Doug McDaniel up, more power to you, my friends. I don't think there's a player in this tournament, whether it's the Arkansas backcourt or RJ Davis or whoever the hell will line up from Doug McDaniel that can win one-on-one against him in a sped-up ballgame.
Does Villanova speed people up?
We're not going to play Villanova.
Okay, all right. Okay, just wondering.
I think that
Carolina's looked pretty good running this year. I'm gonna go. I'll let you know that they got multiple dudes who can lead the break. I don't know. It will be scenes if we get RJ versus Doug. And I think Doug has been incredible, but hopefully I will be doing a Chug McDaniel that night when either RJ or Elliott has a 20-8 game.
Chug Cadeau will slap.
We need you don't even have a cool name for what you would do if your player went for 20-8. Like that's how you should know, you know?
We got a few days. Last team I wanted to mention with something to prove is Pitt. I was going to talk about them even before Tristan highlighted them. I don't want to spend too much time on it because it's Pitt, but they've already elevated themselves to a top 50 team on KenPom. We have to give respect there. Carlton Carrington has beat the odds of being named Carlton.
Bub. Yeah. Bub. On this podcast, he goes by Bub. Okay.
And he's been lighting it up with a triple-double and just being generally awesome. Blake Henson's averaging over 20 points a game, and they have a decent test in Florida. If they get past them, they get a really good test in Baylor. And I'm pretty interested to see is Pitt just gonna go right back to being a bottom feeder in the ACC, or can they be on the right side of the bubble, maybe even higher this year?
I like Pitt. I like Bub mostly, but I think Blake Henson's really good. I think Bub is an actual NBA guy immediately. I said that earlier this week, but it's hard to deny when you actually sit back and watch this game. The kid is special. He's one of the best guards in the country immediately. He kind of has it mentally too. He's not just doing this. When I watch him in a game, he's not doing it just off raw talent and that's it. He has the pace stuff down. He has the sense of the moment stuff down, which to me is what you need. If you're going to play a freshman guard and have him be your featured player, you need that element as much as you need the talent in order to have a successful season. So I see it with him. I don't know. I know you said we call him Bub here. Also, his real name's Carlton Carrington. Shouldn't we that's a great name on its own. So is Bub, but
I also think no one wants to be Carlton. I just can't. You just think about the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air Carlton.
Alliteration though.
Seaton.
Yes.
The Seaton is dope. I just wish it wasn't Carlton.
Okay, I guess that's fair.
Carl's son. If I could give the Carrington family any advice, Carlson Carrington would have been cooler.
That's very true. That's very fair. All right. Well, hopefully we get some matchups that we want out of this game or out of this tournament. Going back to Battle for Atlantis, that is. I want to talk to Riley about North Carolina and Michigan if we get the opportunity. We've gotten to do it a bunch of years lately. I'd really like to do it this season as well. What's your final topic here, Mr. Davis?